There's an incredible sense of power in staying calm when the world around you is chaotic. Imagine walking through life completely unshaken by negativity, unbothered by criticism, and immune to unnecessary anger. That level of control isn't a fantasy. It's a skill. Most people live in reaction mode. Someone insults them and they fire back. Someone disagrees with them and they feel the need to prove themselves. Someone challenges them and their ego flares up. But here's the truth. You don't have to react to everything. Let's start with the most important principle. Emotional control is a choice, not a reaction. If you allow yourself to get angry over every inconvenience, every insult, or every minor irritation, you're handing control of your emotions to other people. Think about it. Why should someone else's words dictate your state of mind? When you react in anger, you're not showing power, you're showing vulnerability. The strongest people in the world are not the loudest, they are the calmest. Emotional control is not something that happens automatically. It is a conscious decision that must be made every single day. Many people believe that emotions are uncontrollable reactions to external events. But in reality, we always have a choice in how we respond. The ability to regulate emotions is what separates those who remain calm under pressure from those who constantly feel overwhelmed. When you understand that emotional control is a choice, you take back your power and stop letting circumstances dictate your state of mind. The first step in mastering emotional control is self-awareness. Most people go through life reacting impulsively to situations without ever stopping to analyze their emotions. If someone insults them, they get angry. If things don't go their way, they feel frustrated. But instead of reacting immediately, take a pause. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is this emotion helping or hurting me? When you start to observe your emotions instead of becoming consumed by them, you gain control over them. Another important factor is understanding the difference between responding and reacting. Reacting is impulsive, driven by immediate emotions, and often leads to regret. Responding, on the other hand, is intentional and thoughtful. Imagine you're in a heated argument. Reacting would mean raising your voice, saying something you don't mean, or storming out of the room. But responding means taking a deep breath, assessing the situation, and choosing your words carefully. The difference between the two is the difference between emotional chaos and emotional mastery. It's also crucial to recognize that external events do not create your emotions. Your thoughts about those events do. Two people can experience the exact same situation but respond in completely different ways based on their mindset. A delay in traffic could ruin someone's day or be seen as an opportunity to listen to a good podcast. A rejection could be viewed as a failure or as a lesson leading to something better. When you shift your mindset, you shift your emotional responses. One of the most effective strategies for emotional control is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches you to observe your thoughts without becoming attached to them. Instead of letting anger or frustration take over, you can simply acknowledge those emotions and let them pass. Meditation, deep breathing, and even journaling can help you become more aware of your emotions and make intentional choices about how to handle them. Another key to emotional control is learning not to take things personally. Many times we get upset over things that have nothing to do with us. Someone else's bad mood, rude comment, or negativity is often a reflection of their own internal struggles, not a direct attack on us. When you stop personalizing everything, you become emotionally untouchable. You no longer allow other people's words or actions to dictate your mood. Setting boundaries is also essential for emotional regulation. If certain people or situations consistently trigger negative emotions, it's important to limit your exposure to them. You don't have to engage with toxic people, and you don't have to tolerate environments that drain your energy. Protecting your peace is an active choice that requires discipline, but it's necessary for emotional stability. Lastly, emotional control is not about suppressing emotions. It's about managing them effectively. Suppressing emotions leads to bottled up frustration, while healthy emotional control means acknowledging your feelings and expressing them in a productive way. It's okay to feel anger, sadness, or disappointment, but how you handle those emotions determines your personal power. At the end of the day, emotional control is a decision. You can choose to let external events control your mood, or you can choose to take charge of your emotions. You can react impulsively, or you can respond with intention. The choice is always yours. Detachment from the ego is one of the most powerful steps toward achieving true inner peace. The ego is what fuels comparison, competition, and the constant need for validation. It makes us react impulsively, take things personally, and feel wounded by criticism or rejection. The more we attach ourselves to our ego, the more we invite stress, frustration, and emotional turbulence into our lives. However, when we learn to detach from the ego and shift our focus toward inner peace, we gain an unshakable sense of clarity and strength. The ego is what makes us believe we are always right. It convinces us that our opinions must be defended at all costs. that disagreements are personal attacks, and that any criticism is a threat to our identity. This is why many people struggle to let go of arguments, grudges, or the need to prove themselves. But what happens when you choose peace over being right? When you no longer feel the need to fight for your ego, you realize that not every battle is worth engaging in. You don't have to attend every argument you are invited to. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. Another sign of ego attachment is the constant pursuit of external validation. Many people tie their self-worth to their achievements, appearance, or social status. They believe that they will only be happy when they get more money, more recognition, or more admiration from others. But the truth is, no external achievement will ever bring lasting fulfillment. When your sense of self is built on external factors, you become vulnerable to disappointment. Someone else will always have more, do more, or receive more attention. Detaching from the ego means recognizing that your value is not determined by what others think of you. True confidence comes from within, not from external validation. One of the biggest causes of suffering is taking things personally. When someone criticizes us, ignores us, or treats us unfairly, the ego immediately makes us feel attacked. But in reality, most of what people do has nothing to do with us. Their actions are a reflection of their own internal struggles, beliefs, and emotions. When you detach from the ego, you stop personalizing everything. You understand that another person's negativity is their burden to carry, not yours. This mindset shift allows you to remain calm and unbothered, even in difficult situations. The ego thrives on attachment to identities, labels, and expectations. It creates frustration when things don't go our way because it convinces us that life must unfold according to our desires, but life is unpredictable, and resistance to reality only causes suffering. When you detach from expectations and embrace acceptance, you gain peace. You understand that things don't always happen the way you plan, but they often happen exactly as they need to. Instead of forcing control, you learn to trust the process and adapt to whatever comes your way. Another way the ego disrupts peace is through comparison. Social media, society, and even personal relationships can make us feel like we are in a constant race to prove our worth. But comparison is an endless cycle. There will always be someone who seems to be doing better, achieving more, or living a more exciting life. When you detach from the ego, you stop measuring your success based on others. You start focusing on your own journey, moving at your own pace, and celebrating your own progress. The key to true inner peace is learning to shift your focus from external distractions to internal stability. Meditation, mindfulness, and self-awareness help you recognize when the ego is taking over so that you can consciously let go of it. Every time you choose peace over pride, growth over resentment, and acceptance over resistance, you weaken the ego's hold on you. At the end of the day, detaching from the ego doesn't mean losing your ambition or confidence. It means no longer allowing external circumstances to dictate your emotional state. It means choosing calm over conflict, wisdom over impulse, and peace over unnecessary battles. When you release the need to prove yourself, impress others, or control outcomes, you gain the freedom to live with true authenticity. One of the most powerful lessons in life is realizing that not everything deserves a reaction. In a world filled with distractions, opinions, and conflicts, mastering the ability to stay composed and selective with your responses is a sign of true strength. Every day, you will encounter situations that tempt you to react. An insult, a disagreement, a moment of frustration. But the way you choose to respond defines your peace, your energy, and your overall success. Reacting impulsively often means giving control to external circumstances. When you allow every rude comment, minor inconvenience, or frustrating situation to trigger an emotional response, you are handing over your power. People who lack self-control become puppets of their emotions, easily manipulated by negativity, criticism, or provocation. However, those who understand the value of restraint know that silence, patience, and calculated responses are far more powerful than reacting out of anger or frustration. Many conflicts in life are fueled by unnecessary reactions. A simple misunderstanding can turn into a heated argument when emotions take over. A negative comment can spiral into unnecessary drama when people feel the need to defend themselves immediately. However, when you pause and assess whether a response is truly necessary, you regain control of the situation. Some things do not deserve your energy, and some people do not deserve your attention. There's a distinct difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is emotional, impulsive, and often regretful. Responding, on the other hand, is thoughtful, intentional, and strategic. The ability to pause before responding allows you to assess the situation objectively. Is this worth your energy? Will engaging in this situation lead to a positive outcome? Will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? Most of the time, the answer is no. Not everything is meant to be confronted. Some people thrive on provoking reactions. They seek validation through arguments, drama, or attention-seeking behaviors. When you refuse to engage, you take away their power. Your silence is stronger than any argument. and your indifference is more effective than any comeback. The most powerful people are not those who fight every battle, but those who choose their battles wisely. Emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in learning when to react and when to remain silent. Being able to control your emotions rather than letting them control you is a skill that sets successful people apart. Instead of allowing negativity to dictate your mood, you learn to observe, process, and move on without unnecessary involvement. You recognize that your energy is valuable and should only be invested in things that contribute to your growth and happiness. Not everything deserves a reaction, because not everything is about you. People's opinions, criticisms, or rude behaviors are often reflections of their own insecurities, struggles, or frustrations. When someone tries to bring you down, it says more about them than it does about you. Understanding this allows you to detach from personalizing negativity and focus on your own path instead. Choosing not to react does not mean you are weak or passive. It means you are wise. It means you understand that your energy is too precious to be wasted on temporary emotions. It means you are strong enough to walk away from unnecessary battles, mature enough to let go of insignificant conflicts, and confident enough to know that silence speaks louder than words. In the end, true strength lies in restraint. The ability to remain calm in the face of provocation, to prioritize peace over petty battles, and to control your own emotional state is what separates those who are easily influenced from those who lead with wisdom and purpose. Not everything deserves a reaction, because not everything is worth your peace. Perspective is one of the most powerful forces in life. It shapes how we experience challenges, interpret success, and define our happiness. Two people can go through the same situation and walk away with entirely different lessons simply because of the way they view the world. Your perspective can either limit you or empower you. It's a choice that influences every aspect of your life. The truth is, you don't see life as it is. You see life as you are. Your experiences, beliefs, and mindset act as filters that color your reality. When you believe the world is against you, you will find proof of it in every setback. When you believe opportunities are everywhere, you will start seeing doors open where others see walls. Your perspective determines whether obstacles make you stronger or break you down. Think about the way challenges appear in your life. If you view them as unfair burdens, they will drain your energy and leave you feeling stuck. But if you shift your perspective and see challenges as opportunities for growth, they take on a completely different meaning. Instead of feeling victimized by difficulties, you begin to welcome them as stepping stones to something greater. Consider failure. Many people see failure as the end, as proof that they aren't good enough. But those who succeed see failure differently. They see it as feedback, as a lesson, as a necessary step toward mastery. The difference between someone who quits and someone who persists is simply perspective. One sees failure as rejection, the other sees it as redirection. This applies to every part of life: relationships, careers, health, and personal development. The way you perceive the people around you determines the quality of your relationships. If you assume people have bad intentions, you'll find reasons to justify that assumption. If you assume people are doing their best, you'll approach situations with more patience and understanding. The way you perceive yourself affects your confidence. If you constantly tell yourself you're not smart enough, not attractive enough, not capable enough, you will act in ways that reinforce those beliefs. But if you change your perspective and recognize your strengths, your confidence will grow, and so will your results. Your emotions are also a product of perspective. A situation itself does not cause stress, frustration, or sadness. It's how you interpret it that creates those feelings. Imagine someone cutting you off in traffic. If you assume they are being intentionally rude, you'll feel angry. But if you assume they might be rushing to an emergency, your response will be different. The event didn't change, only your perspective did. One of the greatest freedoms in life is realizing that you can control your perspective. You can choose to see setbacks as setups for something better. You can choose to see rejection as redirection. You can choose to focus on solutions instead of problems. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing a mindset that empowers you rather than limits you. Gratitude is one of the simplest ways to shift your perspective. When you focus on what's missing, you always feel like you don't have enough. But when you focus on what you do have, you realize how much you've already been given. The person who complains about their job forgets that someone else is struggling to find one. The person who complains about their home forgets that someone else is praying for shelter. Shifting to a perspective of gratitude changes everything. In the end, life is not about what happens to you, it's about how you choose to see it. Your perspective can turn hardships into wisdom, losses into lessons, and moments into opportunities. The world will not always be kind, fair, or easy, but you have the power to decide how you respond, and that changes everything. Perspective is one of the most powerful forces that shape our experiences, decisions, and ultimately our lives. It is not the events themselves that define us, but rather how we interpret them. Two people can go through the same situation and come out with completely different outcomes simply because of the way they choose to see things. Your perspective has the ability to empower you or limit you. It can either build resilience or create unnecessary suffering. The way you see the world determines the way you live in it. Many people believe that circumstances dictate their happiness, but the truth is, it's all about perception. Some of the happiest people in the world have very little in terms of material wealth, while some of the most miserable people have everything money can buy. The difference? Perspective. The way we perceive our lives determines the level of fulfillment we experience. When you shift the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Challenges are a perfect example. When faced with adversity, some people see obstacles, while others see opportunities. Some people give up while others rise up. The difference between success and failure is often a matter of how one perceives the struggle. If you view challenges as unfair burdens, they will weigh you down. But if you see them as necessary lessons for growth, you will find the strength to push through. Every challenge carries a lesson, and those who have the right perspective will extract wisdom from even the most difficult situations. Failure is another powerful example of how perspective changes everything. Many people fear failure, believing that it defines them, that it means they are not good enough. But those who succeed in life see failure differently. They see it as feedback, as a stepping stone, as proof that they are trying. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of success. Every great leader, innovator, and visionary has failed multiple times, but their perspective also impacts the way we interact with others. If you assume that people are out to get you, you will always be on the defensive. If you believe people are generally good, you will find reasons to trust. If you assume that others don't care about you, you will isolate yourself. But if you shift your perspective and believe that people are doing their best, you will approach relationships with more patience and kindness. The way you see others influences the way they respond to you. Your emotions are also a direct result of your perspective. Stress, anger, frustration. These are not caused by external events, but by how we interpret them. Imagine someone cutting you off in traffic. If you assume they are being disrespectful, you might get angry. But if you assume they are rushing to an emergency, your reaction will be different. The situation hasn't changed, only your perspective has. The ability to reframe situations in a positive or neutral way can significantly reduce unnecessary stress. One of the most transformative shifts in perspective comes from practicing gratitude. When you focus on what's missing, you will always feel like you don't have enough. But when you focus on what you do have, you begin to see how much you have already been given. A person who complains about their job forgets that someone else is desperately searching for one. A person who complains about their home forgets that someone else is praying for shelter. Gratitude changes everything because it shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance. In the end, life is not about what happens to you, it's about how you choose to see it. You have the power to view setbacks as setups for something greater. You can choose to focus on solutions instead of problems. Perspective is not just about seeing the world differently, it's about shaping your reality in a way that empowers you. When you change your perspective, you change your life. Mastering emotional intelligence is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. It influences how you navigate relationships, handle challenges, and maintain your inner peace. People who possess emotional intelligence are not easily shaken by negativity, nor do they allow external factors to control their emotions. Instead, they remain composed, intentional, and self-aware no matter the situation. This is why emotional intelligence is often considered a superpower. It gives you control over your own mind and emotions rather than letting circumstances or other people dictate your responses. At its core, emotional intelligence consists of self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, motivation, and social skills. Each of these elements plays a critical role in how effectively you handle life's ups and downs. Without emotional intelligence, people react impulsively, struggle to maintain meaningful relationships, and allow emotions to cloud their judgment. But with emotional intelligence, you can remain calm in stressful situations, understand people's intentions more clearly, and navigate conflicts with grace. Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. It's the ability to recognize your emotions in real time and understand why you feel the way you do. When you are self-aware, you don't allow emotions to control your decisions. Instead, you acknowledge them, analyze their source, and respond in a way that aligns with your long-term goals. For example, if you feel frustrated after a disagreement, self-awareness helps you step back and assess whether your frustration is rooted in the current situation or if it's being triggered by past experiences. This level of awareness allows you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Self-regulation is equally crucial. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about managing them effectively. People with low emotional intelligence often lash out in anger, shut down when faced with criticism, or make decisions based on temporary feelings. But those who master self-regulation maintain composure even in difficult moments. They understand that reacting emotionally in the heat of the moment rarely leads to positive outcomes. Instead of letting their emotions dictate their behavior, they pause, process, and respond in a way that is productive rather than destructive. Empathy is another key aspect of emotional intelligence, and it is a true superpower. When you understand other people's emotions, you communicate better, build stronger relationships, and avoid unnecessary conflicts. Empathy allows you to see beyond words and recognize the feelings behind them. Instead of taking things personally, you consider the other person's perspective. This skill is essential in both personal and professional relationships because it fosters deeper connections and prevents misunderstandings. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel heard and understood, which is why empathy is such a powerful tool. Motivation is another driving force behind emotional intelligence. Those who master their emotions are often highly motivated, not because external factors push them, but because they have an internal drive. They don't let temporary disappointment stop them from moving forward. Instead, they use setbacks as lessons and continue striving toward their goals. Emotionally intelligent people don't rely on external validation. They create their own sense of purpose and motivation, which makes them resilient in the face of adversity. Finally, strong social skills are the result of emotional intelligence. People who understand emotions can navigate social situations with ease, resolve conflicts effectively, and build strong networks. They communicate in a way that fosters trust and respect. Instead of allowing misunderstandings to escalate into unnecessary drama, they address issues calmly and constructively. This ability to manage relationships is what sets emotionally intelligent people apart as strong leaders, reliable friends, and trusted partners. Mastering emotional intelligence doesn't happen overnight, but it is a skill that can be developed through self-reflection, mindfulness, and intentional practice. It requires you to take control of your thoughts and emotions rather than allowing them to control you. The ability to stay calm under pressure, to understand others deeply, and to navigate life with emotional stability is a superpower that will set you apart in every area of life. When you master emotional intelligence, you don't just survive, you thrive. Protecting your energy is one of the most important things you can do for your well-being. Your energy determines your mood, your mindset, and ultimately the quality of your life. Yet, so many people allow their energy to be drained by negativity, distractions, and people who do not have their best interests at heart. If you don't protect your energy, you will constantly feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and stuck in situations that don't serve you. That's why guarding your energy is not just a choice, it's a necessity. It can determine whether you thrive or merely survive. Energy is not limitless. Just like your time, it's a resource that must be used wisely. Every interaction, every thought, and every decision either replenishes or depletes your energy. When you are intentional about where you invest your energy, you become more productive, more peaceful, and more in control of your life. On the other hand, if you allow toxic people, unnecessary drama, or self-doubt to consume your energy, you will struggle to focus, feel emotionally drained, and lose sight of what truly matters. One of the first steps in protecting your energy is learning to say no. Many people feel obligated to say yes to everything because they don't want to disappoint others. However, every time you say yes to something that drains you, you are saying no to something that could energize you. Protecting your energy means setting boundaries and not feeling guilty about them. You do not owe your time or energy to anyone who does not respect it. Choose where you invest yourself wisely. Another key to protecting your energy is being mindful of who you surround yourself with. Energy is contagious. If you are constantly around people who complain, gossip, or drain your spirit, it will be impossible to maintain a positive mindset. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who uplift, inspire, and challenge you in a healthy way, you will feel energized and motivated. Be selective with your inner circle. Not everyone deserves access to your energy.